Welcome to the non-existing podcast where Ozzy and I are just gonna kind of chat, which I need my phone.
Your phone.
All right, so first off, what do you think of the studio?
It's badass.
This is cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So this is one of our mutual, I would say friends at this point now, but also gym members who has this spot, which is actually amazing.
No, definitely. It's
But
a sponsor.
yeah, sponsor Outlast Agency, sponsoring Ozzy for his latest fight, LFA 178
Yep.
at 205.
At 205.
How's that?
I mean, this is probably the freshest I felt. I felt the most recovered, full of energy. Yeah, 205 felt fucking good. You know,
Nice.
I curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 205 felt good, you know what I mean? Obviously we got the win, so that plays a factor in like the energy. Oh, I felt good, but no, overall I felt good. I was waiting the whole time to feel, when is my adrenaline gonna get too high? But
Yeah.
it was like smooth all fight week. Like I knew it was about to happen. I had zero worries.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about fight week, because I mean I used to run track, and when I would compete, I'd have to like lock in.
Yeah.
But being with you all weekend, you had people coming in and out of the hotel room, like just feeling their energy and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. But like, tell me what your mindset was like going into the fight, having your people around you. Like, what was everything that kind of went through your head with all of that?
So it's crazy. I used to be that way too before this fight. I used to be like, I don't want nobody around. I need to focus. I need to not be distracted and not let my mind wander off. But it's like, you know what? The fight is not until Friday around 8 p.m. You know what I mean? Like, when you're so clear, and this is from my experience and the way I approach this fight, when I'm so clear what my task is at hand, and like I know the fight's gonna happen, so all the energy of people, I feel like my best performance is when I have my people around, the energy. And as you noticed, there was a lot of people that showed up.
Yeah.
We were both surprised.
Yeah.
Because it was a drive. Shout out to all those people. It was a 6-hour drive. No, and then I just knew what my task was, you know. I knew what I had to do that day, and I knew I had to do it Friday at 8 p.m. So leading up to it, there's no big deal, you know.
Okay.
It's chill. I felt good. I just felt so good. There was nothing that could have happened that was gonna distract me from that. You know?
Right.
I knew I was gonna win that fight.
Yeah, and a big thing I think that you've grown in that I've seen, because I talk about a lot, is like the mental component. And you've been reading some books, but even before that, the meditation that I gave you years ago, the visualization and everything, how did that kind of play into the whole fight? What did you see? Like, I'm curious. Like, I didn't actually get to ask you about it. Like, when you visualize that meditation, what are you seeing?
So it's crazy when there's this part in that meditation audio stuff that you sent me. There's this part that she talks about, like, let your energy and like glow from you. You know what I mean? So I remember being in the locker room right before we walked out, and it talks about that glow, holding it in your heart and keeping it there. You know. But at that moment, I said, you know what? I'm about to glow. And I literally felt from the bottom of my heart, just my body just like, it just started glowing. Like, I knew I was about to blow the roof off this place. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like I was so untouchable. It was such a powerful feeling that I had with that glow. You know what I mean? And it was just, you know, perfect. You know, I love that meditation. It helps me come back to like my best performances. Helps me, my breathing. All that good stuff, you know what I mean? Which I think everyone should do, you know?
Yeah, I think it's super underrated still, the mental side of things. And people think like meditation and like yoga is so foo-foo or like hippie type stuff, but it's really not. It's actually super impactful, especially for high performers. And you've been doing that specific one for 4 years now, I want to say. And it's the exact same one. Like this lady, I don't know whose it is, I forget, but it's on Insight Timer. High performance meditation, and it works incredibly well. I've used it for other people too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's something that everybody should do a little bit more, and I think you got to lock in on it, especially reading the new book. I forgot the name of it, but David Goggins, you've been telling me.
Can't Hurt Me. Yeah. So that book, like, I started reading that a month, like right when I found out about the fight, I started reading it, and it's just pretty much about his life and how he approached certain aspects in his life or scenarios or like troubles that he had, and yeah, he just challenges you in that book, and like it's funny because in that book he had like no, like he had to tap into that mental strength on his own. He did have guidance in the later part in his life, but man, that guy's a wizard when it comes to mental strength, and it was like made me look at things differently. You know what I mean? I repeat it over and over, and it talks about how our mind has the advantage of us, advantage over us every time. You know what I mean? Like your insecurities, right? Automatically it knows. Like if you're scared of something, your mind knows before you could even acknowledge that you're scared, and you start putting excuses like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do this," or "I'm too busy this day," or you know what I mean? Like it starts just distracting you in different ways, but you gotta like tap into your mental strength. Like it's like a fight between you and you. You know what I mean? Nobody else. So that was cool. You know what I mean? I had to understand that our minds are strong, so strong that it bullies us almost. You know what I mean? It almost just, if you messed up in life, it tells you it's okay. Like you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But if you messed up, it's like you gotta fix it. You gotta know where your wrongs are, and our mind doesn't let us think of that. Like, oh, it puts us in the bag where you're not focused on it. But you gotta fix your mistakes. You gotta fix yourself as a person. Where did I mess up? You can't blame nobody else. It talks about that self accountability. The accountability mirror is crazy. You look at yourself and you gotta, once again, tell yourself your insecurities, verbalize it, and say it like, hey, this and that, this and that, and then write it down and like, what am I gonna do to fix this? So I feel like all that played a factor in leading up to this fight. You know, I mean, it gave me a mental strength ridiculously. It was crazy. You know?
Yeah. So what did you feel differently? Because we had 30 days notice.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to go down to 185 for that.
Right. Yeah.
But the difference in preparation, I would say, like on the mental, not so much the physical side, because we were on point. We were training.
Yeah.
185 versus 205. Like, give me 2 weeks out. Like, how you feel, like what goes through your head and how your body's feeling. Because I don't think people understand how much fighters go through when they cut weight.
Yeah. So the way I could just, like, we had 30 days, right? Like you said, we've been training for months. We were trying to get as strong as possible, which I feel like we did. It was more like, okay, we have specific work to do. We need quality over like quantity, or like trying to like cram everything in and do this crazy amount of cardio. You know what I mean? It was just, we were looking for quality. Like, what's gonna get us the best preparation in 30 days? And don't forget, I was sick the first week. Remember, I was like, I didn't start training till like, let's say 3 weeks.
You were sick when you got the offer, right?
Yeah. And but my mental strength was already there. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I was ready to go. You know. But yeah, it was more about quality. 2 weeks out, the difference I felt 185 and 205. I said it earlier. It's just the energy. Like, you had me eating like,
a lot of food. He was eating.
Like 2 weeks out, and like, I was like so surprised. I was like, damn, it's a lot of food, you know, like, and I just felt so good. Every training session I had full energy. I was never drained. I was never like, I can't wait to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, it was almost like, damn, that was it. Like, that was our training. Like, I can do more. You know what I mean? And having like people like Bruno and like Coach Rafael like keep me calm. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you've done enough. Like don't doubt it. Like, it was enough work. Like, you're ready to go. You've been training. You've been sparring. You've been sparring like freaking killers since September. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need extra rounds. Like, you know what I mean? You need specific quality rounds, which is what we did, which is pretty cool. I like that approach. I almost want 3 week notice fights. You know what I mean?
So you can do 205.
Yeah, not that.
Yeah. So with 185, like, we cut from pretty much the same weight to 185, but obviously the shortest time frame I think we've done it is 9 weeks, 8 weeks.
No, it was
or 11.
I think it was 5.
We did a 185 in 5 weeks.
You keep forgetting about that Moses fight.
I do. I don't know why.
5
like,
weeks,
I had to go on the Tapology and see that dude's picture. I'm like, I remember him now, but that fight, maybe it was just because, like, that was, if anybody to look at any of your fights, if there was like a war fight, that was like it. Second round, TKO. Got a cut on your nose. I remember the doctor, dude, the locker room, everybody was trying to come up to you after that fight. And he's like, guys, I have a needle in this guy's face, back up. And I started laughing so hard because I saw everyone just mobbing you. But that was a fight where I don't get nervous anymore, but like, I get more anxious than I did when I was racing watching you. And I think it's just one, because I don't actually have like control of the performance, just the preparation.
Yeah.
And I've invested so much into you to see you succeed.
Right.
I get, bro.
Yeah.
Like I know you're prepared. I always expect the W.
Yeah.
I always do.
Right. Yeah.
And that actually comes into my mind as a coach, just because I was an athlete too.
Yeah.
I don't know if people can relate to that, but.
No, I think that people definitely, because when I have my guys fight, like I'm just like my hands are sweating. I get like.
But you're the coach.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people in the stands. Like they have no idea what goes into it.
Yeah.
A week out, 4 weeks out, even 6 months before. Like we were working on stuff well before then.
Yeah.
But
it's funny because the people from the outside, all my fights, 100% finishes, which is, we prepare for 15 minutes no matter what. But they always say like, man, like you make it look so easy, but they like to us is like it was not an easy thing. Like, it was weeks and weeks, and now with us years and years to get to this level, and you know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
You know
what people don't see is, at least with my sessions, is when you throw your legs up on the wall and just focusing on your breathing, trying to bring yourself back down.
Right. Yeah.
Like there is hard work to be done all the time, and on my side of things, the easiest time for my training is literally leading up to the fight, because we do so much hard work in the off season that we can cruise back in.
Right.
And I think that's a problem that a lot of fighters have, is they actually try to ramp everything up leading to the fight, and that's where they start to feel super fatigued, tired. You're trying to cut weight, you're doing these hard sparring sessions, and not like peak performance.
Right. That's where I keep saying, like, people forget about quality. Like they just want to cramp quantity. Like, let me run 70 freaking thousand miles this week so I could get my cardio up.
Yeah.
No, man, like you gotta work specifically for what's gonna get you the W, or try your best to get the W.
So speaking of the W, flying knee, up a weight class. Seeing you explode like that, we've been working on it. We always do plyometrics. It should be a staple in any fighter's program, right? We do more specific style stuff to you, just based off of history and everything. But when did that like cross your mind? Like, here it comes.
Yeah. So it was funny. Like we've drilled it like here and there with my coach Bruno. Like he's the flyer in our relationship. Let's call it. He's the one that loves doing that flying knee, and we do this thing where I hold the pads for him up here, and like he does it, right? So when we were doing shakeouts after weigh-ins that same day, he was asking for a teep, which is a regular teep to the face, and I just the flying knee, boom, and then he was like, I like it, like do it again, and we kept doing it, like shakeouts, we were doing it. At that moment in the fight, I literally had a fucking moment. Like I just said, here it goes. Like it was like a second thought, and I just pulled the trigger. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was planning to do it. I was just like, well, we'll see what happens. And I didn't, luckily it landed, and
So do you remember that like moment by moment? Because like for me, like it's still kind of a blur.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, like you got up from the ground, there was some space, so you had to close the distance.
Right. Yeah.
But you decided to do it by jumping into the air during the switch knee. Like, did you plan on throwing a jab first, or like when you had that distance, that's when you said, "Fuck it, I'm coming in and bring the knee up"?
When I was just walking forward, so I got up that second time, and I knew from that moment I was like, this guy, like, no disrespect to the guy, of course, you know what I mean? Like I just knew like this guy doesn't have anything that's gonna put me out or like really hurt me, or like it's weird. Like me, I pay attention to all that stuff. Like when a person hits hard or doesn't hit hard, or a person can can take a hit, I think we both know.
Yeah.
Like we kind of both know, like, all right, this guy's either stronger than me or not strong. Okay, this guy hits harder than me, or I hit harder than him. You know what I mean? So I got up and I was like, I'm just gonna walk forward because I know that he has nothing for me anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm just walking forward. I did the double jab cross. I missed the kick, and then I just started walking. I said, "Fuck it," boom, and then he wobbled a little bit. I think he claims that he didn't, but we all see the film.
We watched it,
and, I mean, at the end of the day, like my job's to do what I did, and if you weren't out, that's not my job. The referee did his job. I did my job, and it's out of my control.
I watched it because you told me they tried to contest it in some type of way. He was not protecting his face at all.
Right.
So you had 4 straight shots, bah, bah, and 4:59, ref stepped in. Like if you're not protecting yourself, you're a defenseless fighter. Even if he was grabbing your leg, that's doing nothing to keep him safe. So,
I truly believe if there was like that fight could have been at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. It was gonna be 20 seconds of that.
Yeah.
So it's not like like I understand if he was like moving and trying to grab me, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, that was a bad stoppage. But you're holding on to my leg and I'm bombing on you and your head's bouncing 4 times. Like the referee's gonna protect you.
Yep.
Like I said, if you would have started moving, I think I probably would understand that it was an early stoppage maybe, but I was just gonna keep going because I wasn't gonna stop. You know?
Exactly. That was just like the main card. Bruno and Iran. Man, Bruno was getting pounded, but he was moving. So the refs kept the fight going. There was no movement from the other guy in your fight. So I you got it. Bam.
We got it. At the end of the day, we did our job, and like the referee pulled me off, and that was it. So So and as you climb more and more, getting more fights on your belt, you have 10 pro fights now. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't even
right.
8 and 2 though. Yeah. 10 fights. That's crazy.
You did a lot of interviews this weekend, right? Or this past weekend.
Yeah.
I want to say 4 probably or so.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
So you're now getting pulled in like multiple directions. People want your attention and everything. Mm-hmm. What is it that you're trying to do as you're building your platform with MMA? Because you talked about it in one of the interviews, which literally blew my mind. So I know the answer to this a little bit, but I want to hear a little bit more details of it because I feel like you held back just a little bit. Yeah. But tell me what you actually want to accomplish with MMA now, because I didn't know this until after this weekend.
Right. So this is like that part right there. I've asked myself that question, like, what am I really doing? You know what I mean? Because like, my career could end any moment. You know what I mean? We don't know. Like,
So we got a little cut off, but you were telling me about what the passion and the purpose is of fighting in MMA now.
Right. So, like I was starting. I still want to see how far I can go because I had a great job and I quit because I was I wanted to truly pursue what my heart and mind told me. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I could fight. I just want to see how far I can go. You know, I didn't want to live to be 45, 50, 60 years old and ask myself, man, what would have happened if I would have pursued it? You know what I mean? I'd rather be 50, 60, not reach my ultimate goal as best in the world, knowing I failed. I would be more satisfied. I would live my life more calm because I tried. I gave it my all. You know what I mean? And there is no failure there. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say. There's definitely no failure in getting to the level that you've gotten to, for sure.
You know what I mean? I've been blessed. I remember right before I quit my job, I said I would be happy if, like, as far as I make it, is one Bellator fight. We did 2 early in my career. Yep. And I got there. I'm like, damn, that was easy. You know what I mean? So then now ultimately, I still want to be considered the best at one point. You know what I mean? But my ultimate goal, beyond, that's on a personal, like, for my accomplishment, right? I know my goal now is really to just inspire people that, like, come from where I come from. People that, like, are scared to jump and chase their dreams, you know what I mean? Like, I want to inspire those people that are told they can't or believe that they can't do it, you know what I mean? Like, I hope through my career people can see, like, oh man, I can also do that, because a lot of people know me and they're like, man, that's Ozzy. He used to be 300 pounds, like, you know what I mean? Look at him now, you know what I mean? Anybody can do it, you know. I just hope one day to inspire those people that are just scared or uninspired, you know what I mean? If I could, like, just spark something there, like, you know what, I'm gonna chase my dream, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be fighting, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, that they can do it, you know what I mean? It's gonna be hard. I still haven't met my goal, but I'm gonna continue trying until the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? There's gonna be failures. You're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna lose friends. You're gonna lose family. You're gonna lose relationships, and you just gotta keep going. You know what I mean? Like, my goal is to inspire those people, and I know they can do it. You know what I mean? Like, we come from the same place. I'm just another human. Nothing crazy. But that's my ultimate goal, is to inspire people. Like, I want people to chase their dream full throttle. If they're not happy where they're at work, then, like, don't be scared, you know? Yeah. Do it. And it's gonna be hard. You will not make money. You know what I mean? You will not. You know this, coach. Like, it's gonna be, but people wanna wait for the right time. Like, let me quit and, like, let me save. Trust me, I saved. I thought that I was gonna be good to not work for a year or 2. You know? It took me about 3 months think about this. I thought I was gonna be good for a year or two to not work, and I thought I was fine.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 months to see negative 600 in my account.
Whew.
You know what I mean? And then that's when I said, "Damn!" And I even thought like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna go back to work because this is too hard." But then I remember I promised myself, no matter how hard it gets, I will not stop until the wheels fall off. So the easiest thing was to go back to work. You know what I mean? And that was it. You know, it was lasted 3 months. Like, no, man, I'm not gonna give up at that.
Yeah.
The hard stuff right there. You know what I mean? I'm gonna continue going, and I'm blessed to have met great people like yourself. You know what I mean? Like your dad. You know, like all my students and like people like that inspire me. That's crazy. You know what I mean? People that look up to me and are looking for answers from me are actually the ones that are inspiring and fueling me to continue pursuing this. You know what I mean? Which is shout out to all my students. You know what I mean? And they probably don't know this, but now they do.
No, that's amazing. I mean, the energy that you get from the people that you're surrounded with, whether you're on a higher pedestal than them or not, like, that's the superpower right there.
Yeah.
And you have inspired so many people already, and the amount of people that showed up was wild. It still blows my mind.
Right.
But the level of inspiration that you're trying to put out there, who inspires you to kind of like keep that going too?
Right. I would say once again, like the love of the people, the love of my friends, the love of my family, love of my coaches. I truly feel genuine love, and like that's fuel for me. You know what I mean? Like to have people that care for you that much and like look out for you and like, are willing to be there. Like that's all fuel. You know what I mean? And people sleep on that, like love from people. Like, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. Like you do need good people around you. So I feel genuine love from everybody around me right now, and I think that's a big inspiration to me. You know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
Yeah.
Is there because you made some transitions right now?
Yeah.
The biggest inspiration from somebody that's helping you push forward in your career now, like. I get the students because I'm the same way. Like when I provide value to somebody, whether it's sports performance or overall health and longevity in their life, like that fuels me because it's giving me fulfillment because I'm changing somebody's life.
Right.
But I look at some other people that are a higher level than me that inspire me to try to get better. Do you have anybody like that now that you look up to? Like, oh, that's why I want to keep growing to have impact like that.
Well, I mean, of course, the great Kobe Bryant, you know what I mean? Like, I saw a video where he almost said about the same thing about inspiring people to inspire people, you know what I mean? Like, he not only wanted to inspire you, he wanted to inspire you to inspire people.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
deep. Yeah.
And it was like, bro, like that's gold. Like me as a coach too, and I have students, I always believe that I'm not gonna keep all my knowledge to myself. You know what I mean? As a martial artist, I feel like we gotta always pass it down because it keeps evolving. So why am I gonna keep all the information to myself? You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I first started, I had people around that didn't want to share knowledge. They were just like, "Oh, you'll get it." And I'm like, "Man, but I want to learn. You know, how do you do this?" "Oh no, it's cool. I can't teach you this." And I'm like, "Oh, well, all right." So, yeah, I would say Kobe. Like, I mean, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Kobe's a big inspiration. I'm pretty sure to everybody in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got it right there. Yeah, so we already know.
But yeah, I've been watching him since I was a kid. My dad loves him. My parents, my whole family. So, yeah, his mentality is on a different level. If I could just scratch a little bit of how he was, that would be a big win for me. You know what I mean?
Well, I gotta say, I think you've done more than a scratch. You got at least a good sized scoop, with his mentality, his work ethic, and everything. Because I mean, well, 19 months, you had your nose in the dirt working. Like,
right. How
many people really do that? We were kind of flying blind for a while.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot.
Definitely.
What would you say is like the most difficult thing? Not the last like 19 months or whatever, but like since you decided like, I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing that you've overcome now and can look back on and be like, oh hell yeah, I did that.
It's crazy. It might sound like I'm repeating myself. The most difficult thing was to really understand myself and to build a deeper personal relationship with myself. You know what I mean? It's not even like skill wise. It was not even strength wise. It's like, how can I become your best friend, Ozzy? Like, how can I become like for you to trust me? Like, I got you. Like, we're gonna do this together. It's weird, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that makes sense to people, but it goes back to I had to look in the mirror and I had to go deep in my mind and like, you know, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, with yourself, you know what I mean? Like, let's build this relationship. How are we gonna get stronger together? You know what I mean? With me, my physical and my mind. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was, I don't want to say conquering, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more obstacles and I'm gonna learn new things about myself, but understanding how my mind works and how like I can be like negative at some point, you know what I mean, and like how to like stop the negativity. Like I had to really, that was the hardest part, you know what I mean, because you can feed off of your own negativity and tell yourself these things, and then that negativity just keeps growing, keep growing, you know. You gotta shut that shit out right away. And then I think that was the hardest part, and it's still gonna be a challenge, but I'm gonna continue fighting that that negative person that's inside all of us, you know what I mean? Like we all have that.
Which we talked about it. Your next book that I told you to read was Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, which the premise of it is not so much the devil himself, but the thoughts that we have that keep us from being great. And the overall like growth that you've had and talking about it, I think is super important, because as men, we're supposed to always be like this strong dude. Nothing bothers me. I'm good with everything. I don't get bothered by anything. But no, like mental health is a huge side of things. And I've struggled with stuff myself. And doing introspective work, reading self-development books, and connecting with people like you and others that have been through trials and tribulations where they doubted themselves or have done tough things. It's really important to just take a step back and resonate with yourself. So that's huge that you're bringing awareness to that, because I think a lot of people out there do struggle with their own identity, what they're doing in life, 100%. What they actually want to do, like their fulfillment, like what puts a smile on their face. Not what they do that puts smiles on other people's face. Because it's cliche, it goes way back when, but you can't pour from an empty cup.
No, definitely.
But it's really true. And I haven't been able to provide the same level of value that I have for people until I started pouring into my cup. And I realized my cup was like dry and fucking cracked. Like I was like, holy shit, I got a lot of stuff
that takes a lot to admit too, you know what I mean?
And just being around people that are open about that, primarily yourself, it's like, oh wow, like I can talk about this. It's okay. Right? And in the fight world, you're a big macho man knocking motherfuckers out. To hear that you've gone through mental difficulties, I think can resonate with a lot of people and actually inspire them to attack things, because they might look at people like yourself and think like, oh, he just got it all figured out. He was just gifted. Hell no. This dude has been through it. Like when I say it, we've been together 6.5 years now. I was still an athlete when we first started. I've seen it all, right? I've been lucky enough to share the journey with you and also see your growth. And the mental side of things that you're overcoming now, I think is really what catapulted you for this fight. Because I've never seen you so locked in and relaxed for a fight besides this one.
Bro. Me neither. I was like I said earlier, I was waiting for the moment where I was like, all right, when is the doubt gonna come in? Like, you know, we all have that, like, all right, when is that little fear, that little, like, the unknown, like, what's about to happen? Like, I was like, but then in my head, I was like, why am I waiting? Once again, this is how strong your mind is. Like, it's now it's looking for, when is that doubt? When is that negativity gonna come? You know what I mean? But the whole time, I was just like, but I'm not negative. I know what's about to happen. Like, you know what I mean? I was just so ready, you know what I mean? And a big part of it, I think, is failing, man, and like your hardships. I think, like I said, I've built a relationship with myself, the person in the mirror, and I forgave myself. You know what I mean? It's I'm not a perfect dude. I've made a lot of mistakes. You know, I've hurt people. You know what I mean? I'm not like gonna like deny that. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I have. But I have to forgive myself, you know what I mean? I am a different person. I look back at my past and, okay, I did those things, whatever it is. I'm not going to get too deep on it, but it was, like I said, your mind starts thinking like, nah, like, it's okay. You did that because you had to at this moment. Like, no, like, it wasn't right. You know what I mean? And I had to ask myself for forgiveness and learn from it and do my best every day to not do those mistakes again. So I think what helped me is I'm at peace with all my wrongs. And I've accepted that I did mess up at certain points in my life. and all I can do is grow and get better from it. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Like acknowledging my mistakes, acknowledging my f ups. You know what I mean? Like, but also acknowledging my goods. Like it can't just be the negative. Like I've done a lot of good stuff. I have grown. You know what I mean? I am stronger. I'm not a bad person. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like balance all that out. I'm at peace with my negativity, but I'm also like feeding my goodness, and I have to just make sure my goodness is there at all times. You know what I mean? And like I said, life is gonna be hard, but like I just I have to remember the mess ups and always like ground myself. You know what I mean? So I'm just at peace with my life. You know what I mean? I'm at peace with my negativities, my failures, all that, and only because you fail at one thing doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah.
David Goggins says it himself, and we fail at one thing, and then our mind automatically says, "Well, you're a failure. I told you couldn't do it."
Right.
But you just failed that one thing doesn't mean you're a fucking failure. You know.
You only fail when you quit.
Exactly. Right? You know what I mean? He talks about like when you fail, like once again, it doesn't make you a failure, but now you have tools. Now you have like tools that's gonna help you get better. Like, okay, you messed up here, but now if you wouldn't have messed up, you wouldn't have had stuff to look at and fix your mistakes. So that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm just at peace, bro. I'm at peace.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? I feel like all that has helped me. Yeah.
I remember fight night and told you this is the sharpest you've ever been. It's sharper than the sword, and a big part of that I attribute to the mental side of things, because that overpowers the physical.
Right.
Like, you can be the strongest person in the world, but if you don't have the mind right, one day that weight, that lift, whatever it is gonna overpower you just because you don't think you can.
Right.
And I think you had everything lined up. Like, I got this. I know I can. I'm the champ. I'm gonna blow the lights off this place.
Remember me saying that?
Oh my God, that was
right
freaking
before
fire.
I walked out, I literally was like, I'm about to light this place up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And, yeah, you know.
So what was your favorite moment? Let's say, okay, let's go like this. Favorite thing you did leading up to the fight? Like, what was like, oh, this was awesome. I really enjoyed that. It was a training session, or like just waking up knowing you're on point. Like, just like one instance, you're like, oh hell yeah.
My favorite moment leading up to the fight was once like I knew I was gonna win. We were all in the back. You, Cordero, Bruno, Shane, and myself, and we did a prayer. You know what I mean? Ooh. You remember that little prayer?
Yes.
And I think Coach, you felt his energy. Cordero's energy is on a freaking.
I was incredible. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about this guy. Yeah. Something about him and who he is, and not what he's done, but the presence that he has is unbelievable. Ridiculous. So go on. The prayer.
Just his energy was like feeding mine, and I feel like was feeding all of us. And he did the prayer in Portuguese. I mean, luckily I understand some Portuguese, but I kind of feel like we all understood what he was saying, like his words. You know what I mean? And then that prayer is like, I believe in God a lot. You know what I mean? And it's just like that moment, I just felt like goodness and love and like, you know what I mean, present at that moment. Yeah. And I feel like that was one of my moments where I was like, yeah, I'm about to get booed. And sure enough, I got booed, right? You saw the people go crazy for that guy, and I just put a smile on it. I was like, there's nothing. Like, I know there's nothing that can happen to me. That's amazing. God got me. You know? Yeah. That's how I felt. That was a good moment for me.
That was literally incredible. Yeah. And I knew at that moment that guy is special, right? Yeah. And for you to be under his wing now, no man, I know there's incredibly great things to come.
No, definitely, yeah. He's a great man. Yeah. He's a great coach, and when he speaks, you almost something just over you. Just like not only do you listen, but like you want to listen.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't say it commands attention. Yeah. It just like pulls you in. Yeah. It's really strange, but in the best
IQ,
way.
Bro, his IQ, like we're training, and he says something, and it's just damn, I didn't see that, but he acknowledged something, and he says it, and you just automatically understand what he says, and it's crazy. He's a great man. I'm blessed. That's why, I decided to go there, because he's good energy. You know what I mean? He's good stuff, and he's got killers at Kings, and I'm like, man, bro, I'm like, I always talk about this, but I'm like most of the time getting beat up there. You know what I mean? Which is so cool. Because it's like these guys are killers. You know? I'm just like, man, this is what's gonna make me grow. You know what I mean? And like people don't see that. People want to be the best at the gym and like, but nah, man, like those guys over there and like you better be ready. If you have a bad day, your defense better be on point because it's gonna be a long day. You know what I mean?
If you're the best man in the room, you gotta find a new room. You found a room with savages, which is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, Cordero. If you guys didn't know, like Mike Tyson's coach, Silva, right? Anderson Silva.
He's just trained so many greats, and I knew about him. But it's not until I went there that I was like, oh man, okay, so this is who everyone talks about. And it's like you kind of just know instantly. Oh, man, he's a great coach. Yeah. So it's cool. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of great coaches out there. You know what I mean? I'm not taking credit from no other coach. There's a lot of good coaches, but he's special.
Yeah.
And I think he carries himself with love. And you could feel his love for the sport, his passion for coaching. You know what I mean? Like you could just feel it. And I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's amazing. So I actually had the privilege of going there to watch him in preparations for the fight. Yeah. And it is different. Yeah. But that moment, that huddle, that prayer was unbelievable, right? And if that was like your highlight leading up to camp, there's only about 10 minutes left. Yeah. What was the peak? What was the highest thing what was the moment for you?
The moment of the fight?
No, what was like, so that was like the best moment leading up to the fight. Of everything. What was the top where that light just exploded from you, like in your meditation, it just boom, that's me?
I would say the moment is, not when like, so I'm gonna go back a little bit, so check this out, and I think you heard this in the interviews. Yes, I got my hand raised and it felt good, you know what I mean, but I kept describing my opponent as in like he's a fighter and he's a great fighter, you know what I mean. He was just put there as an image of like the mental struggles I've had, and he was there to try to pull me back, and my mind tell me like, I told you so, like I told you couldn't come back, I told you weren't ready for this, 205 is too big. Like he was just an image of that, and once I got it done, it was more like, okay, old Ozzy killed, like conquered, you know what I mean, we're moving forward now. And I think that was a big moment for me. It was like I knew I'm on a different state. Like it wasn't the win, it was just I got back in, I had a great performance. I just knew old Ozzy's dead. That was a good moment for me. Like that's amazing. It. Like we're in a new stage. That was just a chapter that I had to close. Now we're back on. You know what I mean? I think that was a big moment. I don't know if that answers your question or if that makes sense.
No, that 100% makes sense. I can resonate that with that as an athlete. That might be a little bit tougher for our viewers that weren't athletes before, but it's just that when you look at yourself sometimes, and you talked about it, the negativity that creeps in and the self-doubt and everything, you just shut the door on that so hard with that fight that was that moment for you. So it wasn't like getting your hands raised or anything. It was like the moment of, I would say, the ref stepping in is when that happened. Because you knew you were released. Like you were released from that person at that very moment.
Bro, you just wanted it even better for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we're a few days out. Rest and recover. Yeah. Still look really pretty.
Yeah, right?
But what's next for Ozzy Diaz?
Well, we just continue back to teaching. Back to work with you next week. I usually go right back into training, and you know this. I usually message you, let's just get back in it. But you know what? Like sometimes you just gotta stop and smell the roses, bro. Like calm down. Like it was such a fast camp and such a grinding like last 8 months, let's say, that there was no like breaks. You know what I mean? People see like he had 3 weeks to prepare for the fight, but it's not that we weren't training. Right. You know what I mean? I just want to like relax. Like that's just it right now. These next few days, I'm just chilling and getting my mind back. I'm not like thinking of the win too much. I'm still grateful, but I'm just relaxing. I just want to rest, and it's not that I'm tired. I just want to check out mentally. Check out. You know what I mean? Focus. Get back to teaching. Focus on my students. You know what I mean? Focus on just normal Ozzy stuff.
Normal
Ozzy stuff. You know,
inspiring everybody. Yeah, exactly. There we go.
But and we'll get back to work next week. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like I said, checking out for a moment.
Yeah.
People forget to check out. I think checking out is very good for the mind. I understand we live. I mean, you know how life is in LA. It's like a fast pace. If you're not working, you ain't doing shit. It's like, but that's what living here has taught us, or makes us carry ourselves. But it's okay to check out, and you know what I mean. The work will get done.
Love it.
You know
Love it.
So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story and experience with the fight up to LFA.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
I am super excited to see where this leads us.
Yeah, me too.
It's unlocking a lot of doors.
Patient,
so.
for sure. Patient. I'm not gonna. People asking me when's the next fight. I'm just like, you know what? I'm chilling.
It'll come.
It'll come.
It'll come.
Just like this one. It took 19 months for me to get in, but then when we got the fight, remember we were talking, we were like, man, that was fast. Like,
yep.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
Shout out to Outlast Agency. You know what I mean?